So it had been rumored for a while that the Utah Jazz were going to rebrand once the offseason came around. And I honestly, deep down thought they didn't really need a rebrand. I think, it's weird in principle that a team in Utah is called the Jazz to begin with, but, they'd been called that for a long time. So that was sort of besides the point. But of course, the Jazz, in the past couple decades, really, I guess, decade or so, were, sticking with this kind of blue, yellow, and green kind of uniform set. And then, of course, they had the orange alternate, which I always thought was a little strange, but it sort of captured, the scenery and whatnot of Utah. But recently, and, right recently, I mean, in the past couple of weeks, the Utah Jazz have officially rebranded, changed their colors, pretty much changed everything about their uniform. And they have one throwback jersey and then three completely new jerseys that they're going to be incorporating into their set, and ultimately removing the ones they currently have. So let's get into first the best one. I think by everyone's standards, the best one of the edition. Obviously, this was a classic edition jersey a couple of years ago, and it was also worn in the finals when they lost to the Bulls with John Stockton and Karl Malone in the great Jazz days. The purple mountain jersey. I think this honestly is one of the best jerseys in NBA history. That's my opinion, but I think a lot of people agree with that because it's iconic. And it's hard when, like I said, your team called the Jazz in Utah, a name that goes nothing with the city or the state rather, and when you put a mountain on there and something that like actually relates to the state, it makes a lot more sense. And I really respect from them for doing that way back when. So that's pretty cool. And it's a jersey that already existed, so it's nothing I can really comment on in terms of new stylistic points, but it's the mountain on the purple jersey. And I think purple uniforms in sports are sort of my favorite anyways. And so, the New Orleans Jazz before they moved wore purple anyways, so it sort of nods to them a little bit. But let's get that out of the way. Now let's get to the ones that pretty much everyone is hating on, the three new jerseys. The black one, the white one, and the yellow one. Now, black, white, and yellow, that sounds completely different than what the Jazz had before, and it definitely is. First with the black jersey, it's very, very simple. They weren't very creative on these ones. It's literally just a black jersey with yellow numbers and yellow script. It says Utah in yellow. That's all it is. It's really all I can say. Of the three completely new ones, the white one's the most creative. You have the note logo on there on the white one with a yellow collar. I think that one's my favorite of the three, but like I said, I don't really like them. And then the yellow one is pretty much just the black one, but with black, it says Jazz instead of Utah, and it's black numbers. So it's white, it's a yellow jersey, and it's a yellow collar as well. So there's not much contrast on there. And like I said, the Jazz uniforms before this were not bad by any means. I mean, sure, they were kind of boring, but the Jazz, they did with stuff with what they could do. They kind of had that navy blue away jersey with Jazz with the note as the J, and it worked. It got the job done. I didn't dislike it, but I feel like the Jazz sort of throughout their history have sort of been a team with an identity crisis. Like I said, they're a team that's called the Jazz in Utah, so it's already going to give you an identity crisis to begin with. But the fact that they've had so many different jerseys in their history, you go back 15 years, they wore, different shades of blue. Then you go back to purple days of the Malone era, and then the Pete Maravich era in New Orleans with the purple, and then you go to the green being added, and there's just all these different colors that don't really go together. The Darren Williams era was sort of two shades of blue, two-tone blue, and then the Gordon Hayward era, which was like 10 years ago, was like pretty green. And so the point I'm trying to make here is just it's a lot of different colors, and then the orange being added a couple years ago. So I give the Jazz a D. If we're going a grade here, I think the throwback was a great idea, but I think the throwback, they could just do a white and purple version and maybe make a black version of it for their three main set, and I think they're good to go there. I think they kind of went too extra with what they had, and it doesn't work. So anyways, guys, that's the Jazz rebrand. Let me know your thoughts. I'll see you guys later, and yeah, peace out.